Dr. David Blake is a lawyer and an ethicist who serves as the Vice President of St. John's Hospital in Santa Monica. He will guide us through the legal labyrinth for end-of-life decisions, discussing advanced directives and durable power of attorney. Dr. Blake?
Greetings from Catholic Healthcare, one of the great ministries of the Church. I would like for you to remember these three messages. The first is that successful decision-making, especially end-of-life decision-making in healthcare, decision-making that's ethically sound, will largely depend upon effective communication with healthcare providers. The second message, that effective communication with healthcare providers is going to depend more upon not so much your legal rights as a patient as it is who the healthcare providers are, especially the physician. The third message, that the greatest ethical challenge that we face today in acute care medicine is the overtreatment of patients, especially at the end of life. I actually see a very strong connection between the law and morality of the law and ethics. And actually I believe we belong to a faith tradition which also sees that same connection. We live in a society, however, that does not necessarily share in that tradition, but also sees a connection between law and morality, which I think is very strong. And that is, we live in a society that is fragmented enough that often we look to the law and our legal institutions as a kind of default public morality. The law becomes our moral point of view. As far as the law is concerned in end-of-life decision-making, there is but one principle or one ideal to follow. That when it comes to medical or healthcare decision-making, the decision regarding treatment should most of all reflect the preferences of the patient. The legal rule that embodies this ideal is the rule of informed consent. The rule of informed consent is this, that a patient has a right to be informed of all the risks and benefits of a proposed treatment and its alternatives. Informed consent is not about signing forms, it's about having a conversation in which information is being shared. This thing called the right to refuse treatment is simply an extension of that right of informed consent. A surrogate decision maker will also have this same authority to refuse treatment. And who are these surrogate decision makers? First of all, they're the legally appointed surrogate decision makers. And then there are the legally recognized surrogate decision makers. The legally appointed surrogate decision makers are those individuals who get to function based on some document or operation of the law. Now, this could be a conservator. It also could be an agent who's been appointed under a durable power of attorney for health care, or what is the new law in California, an advanced health care directive. The message that's continuously given out to the public, both from the medical profession and also from the healthcare industry, is that we do not need to worry about death, and most of us don't. And we, the public, find ourselves in an encounter with a medical profession that's been trained largely to provide aggressive intervention aimed at curing you and sustaining your life, and not at doing anything else. Death is considered a failure for physicians. You put those two factors together, and what do you get? You get end-of-life hospital care for most elderly patients, and hospital care that will drag out. ICU stays, and then finally death. How can you avoid that? Well, it seems to me that what we need to do is take counsel in our own tradition and reflect upon the true nature and purpose of medicine and healthcare, and be ready to talk openly and frankly with people about dying as part of life. Be willing to embrace it, as the title of this program announces.
Liz Sumner has 23 years of hospice experience. She has her nursing degree from Marquette University, and since 1997 she has been the director of the children's program at San Diego Hospice.
As Catholics, we need to provide a place and a presence in which the terminally ill may live well while dying. Hospice can be both a place and a presence in the patient's own home. Almost every community in California has a group that provides hospice services to the dying. A parish health ministry could be started by parish leaders and can offer professionals the opportunity to comfort and serve the sick, the lonely, and the dying. Parish nurses and hospice services can work together to create such a ministry.
We bishops are looking to our parishes to carry out Jesus' command to care for the least among us. In your parish, you have the resources, the talent, the love, and the leadership to begin such a ministry, which can be a witness to the wider world, a ministry that will ensure that none of our own call for assisted suicide. Just as the early Christians cared for their sick and dying, we 21st century Christians can do likewise. We understand that both birth and death are imperative for the continuation of the human community. As the Holy Scriptures remind us, there is a time to be born and a time to die. We are called to embrace our dying.